Hey, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakakwadash, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Today, I wanted to make a quick lesson, bring out a couple information about what's going on, as you can see right here. Right, a video I was making a couple days ago going into how, hey, this might be the one. Right, this might be the one. And I follow this guy on Twitter. His name's Mario Nawfal, right? And pretty much his whole Twitter page is coming out with unfiltered, unbiased, verified, 24/7 breaking news. Right? I would follow him, right? If you're really trying to be in the wraps of what's going on, right? But I've been keeping an eye on what's going on with that virus, okay, that came out in China, and it's looking like it's going global. Right here it is. You had France pretty much announcing that it's over there. The UK, Europe. I think Denmark already had a state of emergency. Okay, and this thing is going global already. And the reason I'm primarily making this video today, right, because I was thinking about it. I'm gonna bring out a couple points to go into how this actually is looking like this is the one, right? The 2.0, the one they've been warning us about, right? Because I was talking with my father and I was telling him about this. I'm like, yeah, there's something in China. Like, it's looking like it might be the one, right? Their hospitals are already collapsing and it's a pneumonia. Okay, and I was telling him like, my grandma just had pneumonia the other day. Right, I watched these fitness YouTubers, and one of them had pneumonia. Right, super in shape. Right, how bizarre. And he was going into how, yeah, I know someone over there in Florida. They also have pneumonia. Okay, and I realized that this pneumonia, whatever virus they're propagating right now, it's already here, right? It's already here. And I heard someone going into how, and this might sound ridiculous, but they've been spraying it in the atmosphere, right? I can't verify that 24 or not 24/7, 100%, but I heard someone saying how they've been spraying it in the atmosphere, and that's how people are getting sick out of nowhere, right? And it would make sense, okay? But the point, I don't know how they got it here, but it's here, and here it is. It's already in 11 states. And when they're pushing news like this, right, this literally came out of nowhere, is exactly what we saw in 2020. Now, the one point I want to make is that here's where a lot of people are going to go off. Right? A lot of people realize that 2020 was a setup. They realized that everything was orchestrated by the elites, right, to depopulate, and ultimately it was a test rehearsal, right? People already are up to that fact, right? The gig is up. So they're looking at everything that is going down right now, and they're saying, "Oh, we're not gonna fall for that again. Oh, we already see this, right? It was a hoax. It really got nobody sick, right? Which the first one actually didn't really do shit. They're right, okay? It didn't really do shit. But this one that they're coming with, here's where they're wrong, right? You're gonna have people that are gonna have that belief, right? That bias of, oh, I'm not gonna do anything the government says. I'm not gonna do no lockdown. I'm not gonna listen to anything, right? I need undeniable facts, okay? And these people are the ones that are gonna really have an awakening, right? Their credibility is gonna be destroyed, okay? When this thing really starts killing, right? Because this is nothing but simulation they ran last year, right? Which in the simulation, I made a video, I think it was a couple days ago. In the simulation, it was killing 80%. It had an 80% mortality rate. It was targeting younger children, the youth, right? It was leaving people um paralyzed, right, with problems. Okay, and these things are actually gonna happen. This is the real deal, and a lot of people are gonna have a rude awakening, right? The government really got everybody in the trick bag, right? And the funny thing about this also is that I was listening to that brother Casey Living Waters. I think his name is Mahalaya, but he was going into how Esau, right? He's crafty, right? Esau is crafty. He sees that everybody is gonna rebel against this. So what he might do is that he might not bring the lockdowns initially, right? He might let it get bad, so then the people are really begging for a solution, right? And begging for an answer, and then he comes down with that authoritarian solution, right? Lockdowns, pretty much blocking everything that people say on the news, right? Because that's another thing, another way the famine of the word or mass censorship can come is with this right here, right? When Because, like I was saying, man, there's people that are gonna come with that rhetoric of saying, "Nah, this is not gonna do nothing, right? This is a hoax." And when it really starts killing, right, the government, right, they're gonna point the fingers at those people that were saying that were coming with that. They call it um what's the word? False misinformation, right? Misinformation. They're gonna point fingers at those people saying, the people that saying that they was not gonna do nothing, and you're gonna get canceled, right? If you come with something against their MO, right, their plan, you're gonna get canceled because it was proven that it was actually killing. If you get where I'm going. Okay, but let's read this real quick. It says new pneumonia outbreak already spread to 11 U.S. states as the mysterious pneumonia outbreak continues to spread throughout China. 11 states in the United States being affected by the mystery respiratory illness. Just a few hours ago, it was only one state. Okay, which goes to show that what they're doing right now is damage control. Right, this has already been here. Right, people have already been getting sick. Okay, it's just that now they're pushing on the mainstream news that, oh, people are getting sick here. Oh, over there. Right? People already been getting sick all over the U.S. It's already been here for a couple weeks. And another point is that pneumonia has been here for 40, 50, 60 years, and never has it done something like this. Right? And out of nowhere, mysterious pneumonia. Right? People are getting sick out of nowhere. Okay, they did something to it. Right? They added some. They modified the virus, and now it's actually doing damage. Right? What is the coincidence that now, out of all the 50 years, now is doing damage? Okay, just nonsense. It says the increase is most notably in the south central, southeast, mountain, and west coast regions, the CDC wrote in its report. According to the data collected, CDC experts predicts this year respiratory virus season will look a lot like last year. They expect the flu season in particular to be within the typical range of severity as the mysterious illness continues to spread globally following an outbreak in China. Many are starting to draw parallels to the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic. Right, and this was by Times Now News, pretty much mainstream news, which is all controlled. And right there, they're telling you that a lot of people are drawing those parallels to 2020, right? And a lot of people drew the parallel of 2020 to that shit being controlled, right? And here, man, there's a lot of things that they can do to this, right? And I forgot, I think it was Bill Gates that once said that, hey, these people don't let a crisis go to waste, right? They do everything they can to ultimately forward their agenda, forward their new world order. But I also follow this guy on Twitter, right? And he makes some interesting points, right? He looks at it pretty much from our perspective, and sometimes you gotta chew the meat and spit out the bones with what these people say. But this is definitely informative. Let's read it real quick. It says, "New child pneumonia cases are popping up throughout Europe. I've been warning about what the next big pandemic will be, how it will start, and how the people who need to listen and make a definitive statement on it will be stuck in their previous biases from the last pandemic. They will end up making a crucial and tragic mistake. This new potential sickness from China has all the ingredients for a horrible catastrophe." Slovakia. As it is not a virus that can be easily handled, but a bacterium that already has conditions for its elimination that are not easily met. The existing medications are extremely harsh and have a limitation where they cannot be used on most of the population due to heart issues or age-related barriers, right? People who shot that juice, right? They have all types of heart problems that the medication is pretty much going to off them, right? Right? And this ties perfectly, right, to what they did in 2020, right? It was all a setup to now really come down with the hammer when people get sick. It says the challenge here is not to simply go into skeptical mode about the lethality lethality or danger of this, but to say that we're not going to trust anything that has not been vetted or comes with strings and mandates attached. I think a lot of people are capable of doing this. My fear is that the most vocal and the people who just want the clout will end up pushing a narrative that looks disastrous in hindsight, right? Because they're going to realize that this is the real deal, especially if this thing begins to affect negatively the children of those who are more willing to comply with such demands. There could be a terrible backlash that will have lasting implications on not only the credibility, but also the ideas and movement of the people who push the completely irresponsible "it's a hoax" narrative. This is a very good chance that I could be wrong here, but I have learned that one of the best strategies is to hedge, and that's what I'm going to do. Right? And this guy right here, he has all this for information about what's going on, but I can bet you he does not know the names Yahweh or Yahweh Shai. right? And knowing all this information, he's still gonna be through, right? He's still gonna be through. But here it is, the men of the Lord have been telling you for 40 years plus what's going on. We've been talking about this. And here it is, it's playing out in front of our eyes. Okay, and I think he had one more article I wanted to bring out, and this was posted in, I think this was posted in, he's also a Jake, man, with the Shiva Jatas, man, those dreads, which goes back to, I think it's Shiva, right? Shiva, which had hair as snakes. Okay, that's where they get that from. It's just worshiping other gods. This was posted in August 22, 2023. Um, let's see, what did I want to get here? Actually, I don't even want to read that. Let's get scripture. This is Psalms chapter 64 and verse 5. It says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? Right? Going into the wicked. Right? They're always trying to do something under the lens, right? In the darkness. And ultimately, they've been planning this new world order, all these pestilences, these famines. Salakia. They've been planning these things for who knows now, years, right? This is all a plan that they're slowly pushing forth. Everything is calculated and perfected. It says they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep, right? They accomplish a diligent search on how they can bring their plan, which is one world currency, one religion, and ultimately one rulership. Okay, they want complete authority over the entire earth, right? And they do that very diligently, right? They're very meticulous on how they do things, right? Down to the T, right? These people, they sit around, they have the highest of the highest AIs, pretty much they're called think tanks, where they just sit together and think, how can we bring this? Right? And they just sit there for hours brainstorming what they can do, right? Having the power also of AI to bring out all these scenarios. How would the people react? Right? Well, how would they react if we put this disease over here on the west side of the hemisphere? Right? If we up the mortality rate, right? And they have these AIs run simulations on simulations, right? On simulations based on the data that they collected, right? Especially all the data that they got on 2020, right? These people know exactly what they're doing, right? And through the spirit, that's what I believe what they're doing, what they're gonna come and do with this, what they're doing right now, right? A lot of people see they've known that another one is coming, but they think it's a hoax. But they're gonna be in a rude they're gonna be in for a rude awakening. And pretty much I searched some pneumonia news. I see Ohio, right? And I think also it came out how Senator, I think they're already coming with the restrictions, right? 5 U.S. senators asked Joe Biden to impose China travel ban after respiratory illness cases, right? So pretty much they already want to ban the start banning flights, right? And hey, there's been a lot of people going into how this was coming before the end of the year, right? What's his name? Forgot his name. He's controlled opposition ultimately, right? But his name's Alex Jones, right? He came out that before the year they're gonna come with a new one, and mass lockdowns were gonna come, right? And here it is. We're seeing the beginning of it. Lord willing, Abaratazah. Okay. I'm gonna get one more scripture. I want to make this quick. There's Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1. It says, woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Right? Going into Jake out here that's trying to they're gonna pretty much try to take care of themselves with carnal means, right? Buying guns, ammunition, stockpiling food, okay, getting the blickies. Right? This is how they're gonna try to take care of themselves, but ultimately it's going to be to no effect because they ain't got Yahweh Bashim Yahushai right next to them, right? They're not doing the right thing. It says that walk to go down into Egypt, Egypt being America, right? These Americans that are going to conform to the system, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt, right? Going into how all these people, when they see these calamities, they're gonna go and run to Daddy Esau. They're gonna go and run to the government, right? Benefits, and ultimately the last thing they're gonna run to is the chip, the mark of the beast, right? But when we see these plagues come upon the earth as they've been prophesied, hey, these people are gonna go straight, right? They're gonna go straight to seek help from the government once they see that they can't do nothing in their own hands, right? But ultimately, the elect, we ain't gonna conform to the system, right? It tells us, let's get that in Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 20. It tells us, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel in truth. Right? In that day, we're not going to be out here trusting in the shadow of Egypt, trusting in this government. We're going to be relying on Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai to take care of us. Right? As it says, in that day, my servants shall eat, right? But ye shall be hungry. Okay, these things are all going to come to pass. Verse 3 says, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Right? Because the people that go down and get those chips, the people that go down and get those juices, right? that do everything they did in 2020 again because they fall for the fear propaganda, right? And what's really going on around them. They don't have that hedge given by the Heavenly Father. They're going to bug out and they're going to go to the government. And ultimately, they're going to be in a worse case than they began with, right? Because all that juice does is kill you even more, okay? Just alters your DNA even more, okay? But ultimately, all these things have to happen. And it's a beautiful sign, man. It's a beautiful sign to see these things going on. And Lord willing, it gets worse, right? Lord willing, it gets worse, and we start seeing a snowball effect running into 2024. But hopefully this was edifying. Just a couple news articles, pretty much information that can be edifying, thoughtful, and put you in the mindset of not thinking like everybody else, right? Because it's very clear that the government has realized the majority of people are thinking in one mindset, right? They're thinking, and ultimately they've been placed in that place to think like that, right? That's another thing. They've been positioned right there exactly to think like that. So when the new one comes up, they doubt it. And the new one that comes up fucks them in the ass. Just saying it bluntly. Well, hopefully this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. Double honor to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Shalom to you, Shalom.